We're in Moscow tonight. We're here to interview the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin. We'll be doing that soon. There are risks to conducting an interview like this, obviously, so we've thought about it carefully over many months. Here's why we're doing it. First, because it's our job. We're in journalism. Our duty is to inform people. 2 years into a war that's reshaping the entire world, most Americans are not informed. They have no real idea what's happening in this region, here in Russia or 600 miles away in Ukraine. But they should know. They're paying for much of it in ways they might not fully yet perceive. The war in Ukraine is a human disaster. It's left hundreds of thousands of people dead, an entire generation of young Ukrainians, and it's depopulated the largest country in Europe. But the long-term effects are even more profound. This war has utterly reshaped the global military and trade alliances, and the sanctions that followed have as well. And in total, they have upended the world economy. The post-World War II economic order, the system that guaranteed prosperity in the West for more than 80 years, is coming apart very fast, and along with it, the dominance of the US dollar. These are not small changes. They are history-altering developments. They will define the lives of our grandchildren. Most of the world understands this perfectly well. They can see it. Ask anyone in Asia or the Middle East what the future looks like. And yet the populations of the English-speaking countries seem mostly unaware. They think that as nothing has really changed. And they think that because no one has told them the truth. Their media outlets are corrupt. They lie to their readers and viewers. And they do that mostly by omission. For example, since the day the war in Ukraine began, American media outlets have spoken to scores of people from Ukraine, and they have done scores of interviews with Ukrainian President Zelensky. We ourselves have put in a request for an interview with Zelensky, and we hope he accepts. But the interviews he's already done in the United States are not traditional interviews. They are fawning pep sessions specifically designed to amplify Zelensky's demand that the U.S. enter more deeply into a war in Eastern Europe and pay for it. That is not journalism. It is government propaganda. Propaganda of the ugliest kind, the kind that kills people. At the same time, our politicians and media outlets have been doing this, promoting a foreign leader like he's a new consumer brand. Not a single Western journalist has bothered to interview the president of the other country involved in this conflict, Vladimir Putin. Most Americans have no idea why Putin invaded Ukraine or what his goals are now. They've never heard his voice. That's wrong. Americans have a right to know all they can about a war they're implicated in, and we have the right to tell them about it because we are Americans too. Freedom of speech is our birthright. We were born with the right to say what we believe. That right cannot be taken away no matter who is in the White House. But they're trying anyway. Almost 3 years ago, the Biden administration illegally spied on our text messages and then leaked the contents to their servants in the news media. They did this in order to stop a Putin interview that we were planning. Last month, we're pretty certain they did exactly the same thing once again, but this time we came to Moscow anyway. We are not here because we love Vladimir Putin. We are here because we love the United States, and we want it to remain prosperous and free. We paid for this trip ourselves. We took no money from any government or group, nor are we charging people to see the interview. It is not behind a paywall. Anyone can watch the entire thing, shot live to tape and unedited, on our website, tuckercarlson.com. Elon Musk, to his great credit, has promised not to suppress or block this interview once we post it on his platform, X, and we're grateful for that. Western governments, by contrast, will certainly do their best to censor this video on other less principled platforms because that's what they do. They are afraid of information they can't control. But you have no reason to be afraid of it. We are not encouraging you to agree with what Putin may say in this interview, but we are urging you to watch it. You should know as much as you can. And then, like a free citizen and not a slave, you can decide for yourself. Thanks.
Tucker Carlson going to visit Vladimir Putin. Vladimir, if he doesn't know, means king, and you translate it. And what he's trying to do is Esau is trying to stop World War III. And there is no stopping World War III. This war is going to happen because it's prophesied to happen in the book of Revelation when it talks about the three woes. And we also see it in Ezekiel chapter 38, verses 1 to 7. Just get to the point. But there are other scriptures. This is about a prophecy against Gog. And the word of the Lord Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, came unto me, speaking of Ezekiel, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog. Gog means mountain. It also means the prophetic prince of Rosh. The land of Magog, which means actually means the land of Magog. The chief prince Meshach, which means drawing out, and Tubal, which means thou shalt be brought. So you see there's a message in the meaning of the words. And prophesy against him and say, Thus saith the Lord power, Behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. Let us go on to verse 4. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army. These are these Gentile armies, horses and horsemen, all of them, clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company of Gentiles and heathen, with bucklers and shields. Bucklers are small shields. All of them handling swords or weapons. Persia, which means the whole Western Asia between the Black Sea, the Caucasus, the Caspian, and the Jaxartes on the north. Ethiopia, which is actually the word Cush, which means black. This is the southern parts of the Nile. And Libya, which is foot or put, which equals a bow. And it says it's probably Libyans with them. All of them with shield and helmet, meaning they're going to be ready for war. Now, verse 6 and 7. Gomer, which means father of the early Cimmerians and other branches of the Celtic family, to the end in the sense of completion or failure. To the end, or to end, in the sense of completion or failure. Also means, quote, complete. And all his bands are the troops, and the house, meaning the family of Togarmah, which means thou shalt break her. And it says it's probably Armenia, of the north quarters, which means far north, and all his bands, all his troops, and many people, these Gentiles and heathen, with thee. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard, that is the man, the post, or the prison unto them. Meaning they're going to be on guard protecting each other. Now, all you have to do is read Psalm 83 for the list of the nations, the Gentiles and heathen, that will be in opposition to the Israelites. Take a look at that, because it's a confederacy of nations against Israel. So the Israelites are not a nation. The 12 tribes are not a nation. We are in America, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and we are Israelites all around the world in every nation, China, Russia, all through Europe, North, South Korea, wherever you can name, North, Central, South America. Any place you name, there are Israelites there. The continent of Africa. No matter what the Europeans do, because they are the ones that are ruling on the earth right now, pursuant to Job 9 and 24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, even though they are trying not to fight. The president of this country said those exact words, that a war with Russia is the third world war, and he doesn't want that.
I also want to be clear, though. We will make sure Ukraine has weapons to defend against an invading Russian force. We will send money and food and aid to save the Ukrainian people. And I will welcome Ukrainian refugees. We should welcome them here with open arms if they need access. We will not fight a war against Russia in Ukraine. Direct confrontation between NATO and Russia is World War III, is World War III, is World War III. Something we must strive to prevent. Something we must strive to prevent.
Но Россия не может чувствовать себя в безопасности.
Russia cannot feel safe, develop and exist with a constant threat emanating from the territory of modern Ukraine.
В этой связи ни у кого
No
не
one
должно
should
быть
have any doubt that a direct
что
attack on
прямое
our
нападение
country
на нашу
will lead
страну
to
приведет
defeat
к
and
разгрому
terrible
и
consequences
ужасным
for any
последствиям
potential
для любого
aggressor.
потенциального агрессора. Теперь несколько
And now
важных,
some very,
очень
very
важных слов
important
для
words
тех,
for those who could be
у кого
tempted
может
to
возникнуть
intervene from
соблазн
outside,
со стороны
whoever tries to
вмешаться в
hinder us,
происходящие
and even
события.
more so to create threats to our
Кто бы ни
country,
пытался
to our
помешать
people,
нам, а тем
should
более
know that Russia's
создать
response will
угрозы
be
для нашей
immediate, and it will
для
lead
нашего
you to
народа,
such
должны
consequences that
знать,
you have never
что
encountered in
ответ
your
России
history.
будет
We are
незамедлительный
ready for any development of
и
events.
приведет вас
All
к
the
таким
necessary
последствиям,
decisions have been
с
made in this
которыми вы
regard.
в своей
I
истории
hope that I will
еще
be heard.
никогда не сталкивались.
But you have to understand that there is no way that they can avoid it. They're trying to put off prophecy. They're trying to stall prophecy. And just like the scripture says, he's going to put hooks in his jaws. Hooks in his jaws. I leave you in the most capable hands of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai.